Okay. COM port number, COM port select, I should say. This is the number in which your device is connecting to the PC. Now, the number you see here isn't a number that we unfortunately get to pick. Okay? We can't just decide, I want it 3 today. It has to coincide with where did Windows put it. Okay? So how do we find what COM port we should be on? Well, there are several different ways. As anything with Windows, you can do it more than a couple different ways. I'm going to take you, quote, the long way. Okay? If I go to Start menu and I go to Control Panel, okay, again, Start, Control Panel. I'm going to click there. I'm then going to go to System. I'm then going to go to Hardware. Device Manager. And then Ports. Okay? Now, if I had an Atlantis plugged in here, under this heading, I would see Brainmaster Atlantis COM 7, 6, 5, 3, wherever Windows decided to put it. I don't get to choose. Windows will assign you the COM port number. Okay? Once I get that, now, if you don't have a device plugged in, are you going to see a COM port for Atlantis? No. Okay? So once I have that number, I can then simply go to this field and match it. Whatever I found in Windows, I then put here. Now my software, Brainmaster software knows where to look for the Atlantis at. Whatever COM port that is.
Does it matter where the Atlantis is plugged in?
No. USB is Universal Serial Bus. You may have 2, 3, 4 of them on your computer. You do not have to plug it in the same one each time. Realize it is dynamic in nature. Just because today it was COM 5, if, for instance, later on this afternoon we plug another USB device in, Windows might have put that USB device on COM 5. If that one's still in and I plug my Atlantis into a different port, Windows will have to assign it a new COM port number. Now it might go to COM 6. So we need to be familiar with how to find the COM port and go from there.
You're in Device Manager, where?
Ports.
And this is in, and you're under port. Oh, ports?
Ports. It looks like a little cable with a plus sign.
Yeah, I don't have ports.
Well, the reason you don't is you don't have your device plugged in.
Okay.
Since it's USB, the computer doesn't know it exists until you plug it in. Once you plug it in, it wakes up and away you go.
You get the ports and it says COM and LPT.
Mm-hmm.
Brainmaster Atlantis 1 module under it, and it says COM 5. That means COM 5 is where you
That means this number right here is where you would put 5.
But only for now.
Well,
does that mean every time you run
if nothing else is plugged in the computer and you go to plug it back in 2 days from now, more than likely it'll go back to 5. But it's not 100% guarantee.
So if you're running a patient, do you always have to check the port?
Only if there's a problem. I would assume it's going to stay on COM 5. It'll tell you if it goes error opening COM port, you know to go look and find out what number it's currently on and make the change. And again, from the training screen, you can make that COM port change on the fly. Okay?
And when you open this up and it says 5 in there, that reflects
where Windows put the Atlantis.
So you don't have to go to the port. Only if there's a problem, you have to go back there and reconcile.
Correct. Yep.
But that 5 should reflect the device manager having put it there. Windows
Yes.
Put it there.
Right. If that says COM 5 in Device Manager, Windows assigned it. You did not. I did not. The Brainmaster software did not.
And that
Windows
doesn't mean
did.
that you have to find the COM.
No.
The extra.
Realize which, where you plug it doesn't matter. They're Universal Serial Bus / USB. USB equals Universal Serial Bus. Wherever you plug them, they all go to a main hub, then they assign.
But sometimes, if this is number, the middle one here is 4, Windows can change that?
The middle one's not 4. That's just a jack. Once it goes inside to the processor, Windows will assign it a COM port. It has nothing to do with where you plugged it. Because you could plug it here and it could be COM4, and you can plug it here and it can be COM4.
Well, when I put it here, it's, when I put it in, if I switch to the other one, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it should stay and be the same number.
Really?
But it is, Windows is dynamic in nature, so for some reason, if it didn't like keeping it there, it might have moved it, but I bet it probably didn't. Okay? The only time it tends to move it is if you've plugged another device in that it happened to assign that same number to, and that device is still plugged in when you try to plug the device, the Atlantis, back in, and it's looking for COM5, but it's not there, so the computer automatically assigns it to the next available COM port, which may be 6 or maybe 18. Depends. Depends what the computer's thinking. Okay? Everybody clear there?